Hey, today we are going to learn how to turn a photo into a comic book effect. I've chosen something that I found on the internet, something that has some brightness to it. I wouldn't choose something that's too dark because we're going to be darkening this down. But let's just go ahead and start. You'll find the tutorial that looks something like this in the server. So I've got that for you already, but in case you want to just do it with me, here we go. First step is we're going to go to levels, and you can go to Image, Adjustment, Levels, or the shortcut is Command L. And what we're going to do is change these numbers here. This is going to be 60 and this is going to be 220. We just say OK. It just kind of increases the contrast on the photo. Then we're going to add some filter effects. So we're going to go to Filter, Filter Gallery. We're going to be in the Artistic section and we're going to go to Film Grain. And we're going to set the grain amount to 4 and the intensity to 10. And just say OK. Now we're going to duplicate our background layer with Command J. And we're going to rename this layer Halftone. So that's the next filter effect we're going to put on it. So now we're going to go to Filter, Pixelate, Color Halftone. And we want to set the max radius to 4. The smaller your photo is, that's pretty much the default. Now if you have one that you've taken yourself and it's a really big photo size, you may want to double this number. But for anything that you find on the internet, I think 4 is plenty. In fact, it's as small as it's going to let you go. So we say OK. Now it can look really bad at this point, but we're going to change the blend modes. In the layers palette, you'll go from normal to darken right here, and it'll kind of absorb that in. We want to give it that dot, those dots, which is called the halftone dots, and that's what the old comic strips were made of. Okay, now we are going to add a stroke line around the box, and the easiest way to do that is to go to the effects panel right here. This is the layer style panel, and we're going to just go down here to stroke, and we want to set the stroke size to 20. And we're going to change the position from outside to inside. And then the tutorial has recommended a color. And if you double click on this color box, it gives you the color picker. And at the bottom, they suggest that you type in F5, EC, E1, and it gets you this kind of cream color. Now, I think it depends on your photo. If you feel like you want a more complementary color, fine. But that's just what the tutorial calls for. So you can plug in a specific number there. You could also probably take a color from your picture. Let's say we wanted to match the balloon. We could color select. I'll show you how to do that when we do the boxes. All right, and again, I think the size looks pretty good with the stroke, but you want to have one that's fairly thick, but not super thick. And so if your lines aren't coming out very, heavy, you want to have a pretty good edge around this. So you may want to adjust this, but I think for right now 20 looks pretty good, and we're just going to say OK. All right, next step is we need to create a little caption box, and where you place it really depends on the photo that you have. I've got an empty corner up here, so that's where I'm going to choose to place it. The tutorial that I found had suggested that we have 2 of them. I don't think you need it. I think we'll just do 1. We go to the rectangle shape tool here, and I'm going to draw out a box. Before you do, make sure that this says shape and not path. Then you'll see a solid shape that's drawn. So I'm going to just drag out a box. Now it's filling in with black, but I can change my fill color here. Now they'd suggested choose an orange color. And that works okay. If I want to grab, let me cancel that a second. Let's grab my color picker. I could choose, let's say, this magenta. And what happens is then when I go back to the shape, I can see that color here. Now that's maybe more red than I wanted. But you can color select with the little eyedropper. I think I'm going to tone that back just a little bit. They also suggest putting a stroke line on it. We're going to choose black for the color. And instead of 10 points, we're going to take that down to 3. Let's type in a 3 right here. And it just puts kind of a nice thin line, there we go, around your box. All right, So that's done. If you wanted to have a second box, you know, in opposite corners or something, you can, but I think for our purpose, this is good. I'm going to zoom in on it with Command plus. I'm going to get my text box out. So I just need a text tool, and I'm just going to start typing in here. Now I've chosen a font, Marker Felt, that I think gives kind of a handwriting look, and I'm just going to type a word. Now it looks like my font may be too big. I'm going to back it down. If you feel like you've made a mistake or you can't see something, hit this little check mark. It will show you, like over here, I have started to type something, but I couldn't see it. If I double click on that T, I'm going to hit Command A to select what's ever in that box, and I'm going to shrink it down. There it comes. So that's 18 points, and it had been 72 before. So I can make it a little bigger, and I will adjust this in a second. So I'm going to write happiness, but I don't want it red. My color right up here says red. I'm going to change it to black. And I'm going to use my move tool. So this little arrow with the cross, and I can drag it where I want to. If you felt like you wanted that bigger, you can hit Command T and transform the size. Just hold Shift and drag it bigger or smaller, but I'm kind of happy with it right now. I'm just going to leave it right there. Okay, so let's back out, Command 0, take it back out. This looks pretty good. Now the only step that's remaining that the tutorial says is that you can put a line around the edge of your photo. Sometimes when I've watched students do it, they either don't have enough room here, or maybe their photo's all black and you wouldn't see it. So I call it optional. But if you take this rectangular marquee tool and we just start in the upper corner of the photo, not the stroke line, but just the photo itself, and we go right here, it's putting the marching ants around our photo. Now you can't just go to Effects to get the stroke line. You have to go to Edit, Stroke. Or hold on, you know what? I did that on the wrong layer. So I'm going to deselect that, and I'm going to create a new layer. So I don't want it on my text layer. I'm going to go to this little button here and create a new layer and do it again. Okay, drag it out. And then I'm going to go to Edit, Stroke. Here we go. And I want this stroke line to be about 3, no, okay, they say 4 pixels. Color is black. And the size is center, or the position is center. So that's good. We got that, and say okay. And as you can see, it just puts a little line around these edges. Now I'm going to hit Command D to deselect it, and they suggest that you add some filter effects to create kind of a hand-drawn look. So we're going to go to Filter, Blur, and we're going to go to Blur More. So you just click on that, okay. Then we go to Filter, and this time we're going to go to Distort, and we're going to go to Ripple. And they suggest that the size is 20, so amount is 20 and size is medium. You just say okay. And we do one more. We go Filter, Sharpen, and Sharpen More. And that's it. You can kind of see the edges a little bit jaggedy, so it's as if somebody took a pen and went around it. And then that's it. Now if you say, well, I don't like this gap up here, I want to move things. If you want to move things, that's fine. Just click on your rectangle shape, get your move tool out, and just kind of use your up arrows to nudge it. You can scoot things around if you need to. Then you'll probably have to move your text, but it's just being on the right layer to move things. But otherwise, I think that looks pretty good. Then just go File, Save, and save your comic. Okay, thank you.